Why feminine energy can't be missed during hormone healing. This episode is one that I wanted to record for a while, and now I am in my follicular phase, and that's the phase where I always feel like way more creative and wanting to, talk and everything. So, just wait a little longer and then I know that energy already comes back. And why would I force it in another phase, right? So, let's dive in this episode because it's really the why, or it's the standard, it is the thing I really believe in, it's where I stand for within my business. It is really the path that I've been on for years. It is the depth of everything and the missing gap in the market, because I see a lot of things happening in front of me. I've seen a lot of things change within me myself, and feminine energy, or actually if I'm more looking at the whole of it, it is our inner energy or inner balance is so extremely important. And this all comes from where I've started. I've started as a nutritionist. I was working as a nutritionist and I was helping people to get fit. I was helping people to get fit from the outside. So we were focusing on cutting calories, losing weight, getting in shape, everything around that. So that was everything and the whole world where I was working inside. I was really obsessed with eating healthy and training a lot. I was really living this, quote, healthy lifestyle. I was the real fit girl, but on the inside, I really didn't feel fit at all. I really felt like my body was often overtrained. I had all health complaints going on. My hormones were really out of balance. And I was like, what is happening? And actually, I was not the only one. All the women in front of me, especially the women in front of me, are having sort of the same problems. And that's where I started diving deeper into, okay, what is actually going on here? And why are all these healthy people not feeling really good? They're not feeling alive and good and radiant and like, that they're really like feeling good. We're more like surviving through life. And I knew that is not my standard. That's not how I want to move through life. I believe there's more. That was really, really where I was right then. I started my own business around 5, 6 years ago. And then I was again like working on the same things as a nutritionist, and I started integrating more um like eating on cell level. So I was really already diving more in. So okay, well, what if we start eating not only for our outside but more from our inside, and starting to really nourish our body. So that helps, and I became a hormone coach. I really enjoyed working so much as a hormone coach, but I actually don't fully resonate with it anymore. And still, people see me as someone who talks about hormones and cycles a lot, which is true. Um, but I wouldn't say I am a full on traditional hormone coach anymore. I would more say a cyclical coach who loves to work on the feminine and our inner balance. We don't have to give it a label. I am who I am, and I have healing powers, and I see often immediately what people need. And that's why putting myself in the box of hormone coach was really, really doing me short. So I love to help people really transform from getting through in life and surviving and being like okay, being fine, having all these complaints and feeling actually a bit empty, to like, okay, let's set your soul on fire. Let's get, that life that we really dream of, and that it feels good. We feel good from the inside and the outside. We, actually, all the things that we achieve, we can truly be grateful for it. We can truly embody everything in a way of like, ha, I'm so happy, I'm so grounded and rooted in myself. And that's really, really a big missing link there is our energies, our inner balance. So let's get back to the timeline where I was working as a hormone coach and I was seeing women in front of me again who were eating super healthy. They had a healthy lifestyle. They really have everything together. They really have great things achieved, but their bodies were actually still saying something different. So I help them eat more healthy, get the right supplements, and yeah, balance something more in their body, which helped. And I've seen a lot of women do a lot of big transformations and get to a point where they're like, okay, well, I feel good again. I feel like, hey, my complaints are way less. But that's where the point where I came myself, and the point where I was like, okay, yeah, I feel good and I feel fine, but I know there is more. And I know there's something, yeah, where I really can truly feels so good, because even though my PMS calmed down a lot, even though my I didn't bloat as much anymore as I did, I still felt often quite exhausted. I had incredibly much mood swings and I felt stressed super much. So even though I had this healthy lifestyle, even though I already did all those things and I reached a lot in my life, I still wasn't fully feeling good. And I started to attract a lot of women that are on the sort of a same story, especially women who are had tried everything but couldn't get pregnant, and their fertility wasn't fully there. Women right now who are having really great careers, who are really high in entrepreneurs, or who are yeah, well, they have really good things reached in their life, but they're still not feeling it. They're still feel this gap of like, oh, is this it? Is this what okay, well, I thought, yeah, I would feel different by now. This is exactly the point where our inner energies come to life, where we have to dive deeper, or we actually, maybe it's not deeper, but we have to start at the beginning, because nutrition and supplements, they are great. It is definitely 10-15% of the whole picture, but it's actually only 10-15% of the whole picture, and there's way more where we can dive into, where we can look into when we're still feeling out of balance in our lives. So what was happening is that, yeah, it is really that underlaying feeling, like waking up stressed with this jittery feeling, bit of out of balance, high cortisol. And it is just the fact that nutrition is not gonna fix that. So what often happens is that's the first thing we think about. Oh yeah, I have to eat more healthy. But if we already obsessed with eating healthy so much and we don't look about at everything that's going on underneath that, then we're gonna miss a really big thing. So it is really, really so important to zoom out and to see, okay, well, where do I really start going to the foundation, to, yeah, the beginning, the roots. And that is not supplements. Supplements is somewhere, if you would draw a pyramid, supplements is in the top of the pyramid, and nutrition will be a bit in the middle of the pyramid. But on the bottom of the pyramid is actually, how do we move through life? What do we believe? How do we trust? What do we feel? There's like the emotional, the mental aspects of it all. And we can't ignore it. There's coming a point where we can't ignore it, where there are gonna be patterns and habits that are gonna block you from feeling truly good, feeling truly, yeah, like if you're exactly where you are and you're calm and you're grounded and you're so happy of where you are in life. And that's where we really have to look at the whole pyramid. Let's say it like that. So feminine energy. Let's look at that, because feminine energy is one of the 50%. The other half is masculine energy. And feminine energy, masculine energy, it is actually the balance within us that we need. Often we run in patterns that are based on wounded masculine energy or wounded feminine energy, which can show up as really like forcing yourself through the day, pushing yourself, and ignoring all the signals our body gives us, controlling things very hard, like really like that overdrive, always being on. That's actually our wounded masculine showing up. And this is often where I meet people. Often where I meet people in their wounded masculine energy, and they know this is not working for me and I don't want this anymore, and I really want to work on this. I want to feel like I'm not like continuously surviving the day. So that's the wounded masculine. The wounded feminine can be a bit of the people pleaser. They're never saying no. They're not really putting yourself first. And if we are continuously eating healthy, taking our supplements, but continuously, yeah, not believing in our own worth and always thinking we are not enough, need to do more, then guess what? We're not gonna feel good. We're not gonna feel radiant. We're not gonna feel amazing. So it is really looking at that foundation of like, on which energy do I run? What is underneath? And there's so many examples that I can name in that. Like, for example, yeah, someone in a very good career. She has a high function within a business, and she is continuously like doing too much. She is always working late. She has no time to eat. She really like doesn't take the time to have a walk. And maybe she has this good morning routine. Maybe she goes to the gym. She does her yoga. But what happens in between in the rest of the day is even more important. Because if you keep overriding yourself the whole time, then it's going to be hard. It's going to be very, very hard to, yeah, actually feel good. And for a lot of people, we don't settle for that. Like, especially the women that I work with, they don't settle for less. They know there is more. They want to just reach that potential, and they want to actually, yeah, start feeling good again. So, yeah, what we do is looking at those energies within and seeing like, hey, how can we create more that inner balance? And often it starts, and if you listen to my episode 6 about the heroine's journey, this is really where it often begins. It is really breaking free from that wounded masculine and reconnecting with our feminine, because we are often so so far away from connecting with our feminine, with the softness, with the fluidity, with our intuitive powers. We are fully disconnected with that. And so we first often have to slow down to feel, to regulate, to, yeah, connect with ourselves again. And that can be very uncomfortable. That can be new. That's why it's uncomfortable. But it's not impossible. Everyone can do that. You can do that as well. And like whenever we start reconnecting with that feminine, maybe then we see more of the patterns that were underneath her as well, like the good girl showing up. And if you didn't do it, I made a quiz where you can really see how your energies are running you, how those patterns are showing up in your life, like the wounded energies and the healthy energies as well. So you can really see like what is going on beneath the surface, which is gonna name the thing that you might not have named, be able to name yet. So I put the link in the show notes. Definitely fill in that quiz. It's totally free and you will see the results instantly. And feel free to send a screenshot about your energies because I would love to see what's going on. So where we are there is like reconnecting with our feminine and balancing our healthy feminine, balancing that, and then we often come back again at the masculine. We need to integrate our healthy masculine within our healthy feminine. And that's often also a new point where we're at. Like we are feeling good, we're more trusting life. This is very much a part where I've been for a bit as well, where I was like, ah, yes, the feminine. Whoo, I love this. And I trust it and I feel good and I let everything just unfold. But there comes this point that we need direction, we need structure, we need order, we need like some to move forward. And that's the inner masculine in us that can help with that. We don't need like a partner or a man for that. It's amazing if someone is there on the sideline to carry us, but we need to carry ourselves too. So we need to be able to carry ourselves too. I need to drink some water. And there, the whole balance comes back to you, to who you are. And this is a very swift, like easy talk through version of it all. And maybe you're still a bit like, yeah, but how? Or, yeah, maybe this is not for me, or I don't know what you're actually talking about. Well, then it's exactly the point of looking into it more. Because I started my journey of like, I have feminine energy. I don't know about that. I'm not feminine at all. Yeah, that's the point. That's exactly the point I'm trying to make, where we have to reconnect with that. And that's going to be amazing. My cycle was my portal to reconnecting with my feminine. It is my anchor because I know of that cycle, that feminine energy that lives within that. That's really my anchor in life, something I come back to almost daily, not being obsessive with it, not being like rigid in cycle syncing, but more cycle awareness. It's not like, oh, I am now in this phase and now I need to do this, because that's very robotic. It's more of, okay, what do I feel today? And does it make sense? Like when I feel suddenly what I was talking about in the beginning, when I try to record a podcast and I don't feel like it, I don't want to actually be fully in my extrovert energy and I'm in my luteal phase, I can notice that and I don't push through that. And that's exactly the point where I would keep pushing before and frustrating myself. For example, I just remember so well the moment where I was in the gym, like years ago, and I was really like working on increasing the weights on my squats and that kind of stuff. And like some weeks, I was feeling so weak. And I was like comparing myself the whole time and I was like so frustrated that like suddenly it didn't work. I couldn't do it. And then I started to reconnect with my cycle and seeing the pattern that I was just a little bit weaker during my luteal phase or my menstrual phase. And I accepted that as normal, as being okay. As okay, this is not the moment to push a PR. This is just the moment to stay on track and be there, not to let everything fall apart, but also not to push myself or to be angry at myself if I can't like higher up my weights. And then suddenly I started to really grow in weights again, in adding more weight to my squats, because I was more aware of my cycle and I knew when I could peak. And the same I do in my business, the same I do in my relationships. And it has changed my whole life, not from rigidity, but really from awareness. So if you're not doing this and you're wanting to dive more into it, then definitely come and connect with your cycle every Monday during my cyclical movement method. I really love it. Every Monday, I host a live session through Zoom where we have our where we reconnect with our cycle, where we set the intention for the week and start a week powerful. We have every week a new season, and we move different in different seasons. So where you are in your cycle doesn't really matter. You can also do the videos at your own time, at your own place, wherever you are in your cycle, and align them with that. But it is really about showing up in your energy and not being afraid to, yeah, be less or be more. And really, this is the place to start. So if you are hearing this all and there's curiosity in you of like, okay, yeah, well, I do want to do something with those inner energies, and I see that this is the part where I need to go as well if I want to experience more of that really bright side of life. Then this is perfect. Just come move with me at Monday, and yeah, that's a great start. You don't have to change your whole life in one snap. You don't have to be suddenly super feminine and start wearing pink if you don't want to. It's not about that. It's really about reconnecting with yourself. So yeah, um it's also maybe good, and then I'm gonna quit this episode, but it's really good to look at what happens when the balance is off and you are not daring to dive in it, because it's such a fun process to dive in it and play with it. It is really, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna self sabotage for sure. You're gonna run into the same problems, and that can show up in your business, in your career, in your relationships, everywhere, where you're just like, I'm so annoyed that this happens again, that I have this full on calendar again and I don't take time for myself. Or I try to take time for myself, but I can't relax. I can't relax fully, or I keep on waking up anxiously, and it's with so much urgency in my body to do something. Well, actually, I don't know what's going on. And really coming back to yourself, to your center, that's where the magic lays. So don't don't like, yeah, say that it's not for you, or say, yeah, this is something I should dive in later, or nah, yeah, it's not a priority, because you, my darling, are the biggest priority of your life. And when you come first, everything else flows way more easily. I really, really see that. I really believe that. Again, I have hundreds of stories where I've seen women do really amazing things, choose themselves, quit relationships that didn't work anymore, started new jobs, following their own life to set their soul back on fire. And for you, that's also possible. So check out the show notes to just make some stars in the right direction. Small steps, big changes. That's really, really where I believe in. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you think about it. I've seen that my listeners recently have gone up a little bit, so I really would love who is listening, so I know to who I'm talking to. Yeah, I really love that you're here, that you're listening, and feel free to send this episode to a friend that could benefit from it as well, and share the love. Thank you so much for being here, showing up for yourself, and see you next time.